Hi subscribers, welcome to the channel. Before we start, subscribe, share the video, and leave a comment because today I'm bringing you a story that didn't explode in front of the cameras, but inside the family. Around Kan Yaman and Sara Bluma, contradictory signals have been circulating for weeks. Some say it's over, others swear it's not completely closed. And just when many people thought the relationship was dead, Sara dropped a line that turned everything upside down. That last year was hard, and that next year will be their year, promising surprises for her and for Kan. That message didn't just stir the fans. According to rumors, it triggered an immediate storm at the home of the actor's mother, Yaman. They say that as soon as she saw it, she called him in a serious, almost furious tone and asked the question nobody wanted to hear. "Didn't you tell me it was already over?" Then came the strongest part. His mother didn't stop at half-hearted reproaches. She asked him to come back to talk face to face, and Kan, despite his packed schedule, made a lightning trip to see her, avoiding eyes and cameras. At home, the conversation quickly grew tense. Guldem demanded clarity. "If you ended it, why is she saying that? Are you back together?" And then she delivered her final warning, the kind that draws a line in the sand. "If you decide to go back to her, I won't forgive you this time." She also made it clear she never felt any sympathy for Sara, that she could never bring herself to like her, that she was even happy when she thought they had broken up, and that this announcement devastated her. The atmosphere turned icy. Kan, after holding back in silence, answered with a blunt sentence, "Stay out of my life." Far from calming things down, that only fueled the argument. She shot back, "I'm your mother. I have the right to say these things." Two strong personalities at the same table, and the tension rising. To keep everything from exploding, Kan left the house and walked for hours, trying to cool off. When he came back, he said something that lowered the volume of the conflict. "Let it be as you say." That calmed his mother. But the question is obvious. Was it surrender or just a way to soothe her for now? At dawn, Kan returned to Italy. He left with more questions than answers. And according to the people around him, he came back different. Shoots, meetings, smiles, but distracted, as if his mind had stayed in Turkey, caught between what his mother said and the chaos unleashed by Sara's message. And while all this was unfolding, Sara chose silence. No denials, no clear confirmations. But people say her post wasn't impulsive, that the timing was carefully chosen, and that even if she didn't expect such a harsh reaction from the family, she doesn't intend to back down and is still clinging to the idea that next year will be theirs. Now, Guldem's stance divides opinions. Some say it's pure protective instinct, fear that her son will suffer. Others think it's an attempt to impose limits and control, and interpret her phrase not as a scolding, but as an ultimatum. So Kan is stuck in the middle. On one side, his mother's red lines. On the other, feelings that, if they truly exist, still aren't closed. And all of this comes right when his career is at its peak, with projects and deals that leave no room for an emotional earthquake. And here's the big question for you. Did that relationship really end? Or are we watching a silent breakup that could turn into a comeback at any moment? And those surprises Sara promised, are they real or a move to apply pressure? One thing is clear. The biggest storm didn't happen in public. It happened behind closed doors. And even if it looks calm from the outside, the sky is still heavy. When I read these comments about the situation between Kan Yaman and Demet Özdemir, one impression becomes very clear. Around Khan, a strange mix of expectations, reproaches, and romanticism has formed, sometimes heavier than the facts. Honestly, it feels like he lives inside a narrative the public keeps feeding. Some see him as tied down or manipulated by the industry, others as a man who complains too much and doesn't stand by what he says. What's curious is that both views coexist, as if Khan were both a victim and responsible for everything that happens to him. On the one hand, I understand the harsh criticism. When someone says, "Who's holding him back? He's always complaining and never keeps his word." They're expressing fatigue with a repeated storyline. I also struggle to buy into the poor Khan role if, at the same time, he signs contracts, has agents, makes decisions, and moves with full awareness of what fame involves. The idea that appears in the comments, "He knows what he signs, he's not unaware," seems fairly reasonable to me. The industry can be tough, yes, but it's not an inescapable maze. If you're in it, it's partly because you accept to play that game. That said, I don't fully buy the version that Ken is acting on and off set, as if everything were just theater. My sense is that Ken has built a strong public persona, almost inevitable, and that makes it hard for him to show vulnerability without being accused of faking it. In show business, as another comment says, many people slip and lose themselves, sometimes from too much exposure, other times from trying to please everyone. And Ken, with his charisma and international fame, is constantly under that lens. Every phrase gets read as strategy, every silence as manipulation, every decision as betrayal. About Demit, I notice a very idealized discourse. The price of honesty is called Demit, and fame came with her. I don't deny that period may have been key for his image and for public affection, but I don't like when Demit is used as a kind of moral compass to judge him, as if Khan owed an eternal debt, or as if his path were only legitimate if he returns to that story. To me, that's unfair. Relationships, real or perceived, aren't emotional contracts with the audience. Then, there's the almost mystical component some people attribute to Khan, that in another country, a kindred soul is waiting for him, a world of freedom and true love, and that behind the scenes there is infinite happiness. I read that more as the public's desire than as a provable reality. Still, it's significant. Many people want to see him break free, want to believe he deserves a more authentic life, less conditioned by the media machine. And maybe that's the point. Ken Yaman triggers that escape fantasy because his public image has been intense, excessive, always on the edge. In short, in my view, Ken is neither a misunderstood martyr nor a calculating villain. He's a famous man with agency, but also under enormous pressure. If he truly wants to close chapters, including the one that ties him to Demet in the collective imagination, he needs to do it coherently. Fewer public complaints, more clarity in what he communicates, and above all, less feeding an ambiguous narrative that later turns against him. Because as long as that ambivalence remains, some will defend him as a romantic hero, and others will attack him as if everything were an act. And in the end, the one who loses the most is him.